What is up, man? It is your boy, Alexander Michaelides, and I'm here with...
Ealef Cuts.
Yes, sir, and welcome to episode 7 of In the Cut, from the chair to the community. And, man, to my right, we have a very, very special guest, man. It's our first guest of the podcast, isn't it?
First guest of the podcast.
First guest of the podcast. You want to introduce yourself? We had the main man, Michael Torres, man. Talk to me. How you doing, bro?
Hey, let me just say, this guy's a natural at that.
He does it so good.
Natural. Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for having me. Feel honored, to be the first guest. Mike Torres, neighborhood guy, from the hood. I'm a basketball coach. I think that's the simplest way to put it. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Basketball coach, that's dope. And I'm excited because you'll find out throughout this. Mike was my former basketball coach, but we'll touch on all of that here today. But, it's our first guest, Ealef.
Definitely.
How we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, first guest of the pod, it's big. So I guess let's start off, being in a barber studio. Let's start off. What's the worst barbershop experience you've ever had?
Ooh.
Starting off hard.
Oh, there's too many. Too many. I think we've all been there from, trying to get, some stylish cuts, you know what I mean? Whatever's in trend. Sometimes a certain look might not be best for you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I think you got to just stay in your own lane, what you're comfortable with, your head shape.
That's an important one.
You got the barber.
Your head shape tells it all, man. So for me, I keep it simple. I just started growing my hair more, more recent over the last few years. I've always had a low cut. Now that I'm getting older, my hairline's getting pushed back a little bit more. I'm starting to let it grow out. So, yeah, man.
Did you ever have like a wild trim back in the day that you look back on and you're like, nah, this ain't it?
Oh, very horrible fades. Very, very high skin. No fade or blend whatsoever.
Just a line.
My lineup getting pushed all the way back. Man, I've had it all.
I've
had some wild haircuts when I was little. I went through a phase where I would get designs in the back of my head. 2 designs. I remember I had the Jumpman.
No, you didn't.
And I had a basketball with a Nike check in it.
Did they pull it off? Did it look good?
As a kid, I guess it did. But my mom, I did something bad in school. My mom shaved it. One of them, I can't remember which one she shaved, but she shaved one of them with a razor. Yeah.
That's crazy. Would you ever put a Jumpman on someone?
I'd love to. I'd love to now.
Do you reckon you'd be able to?
Oh, definitely. I'll put myself to the test.
Jumpman, that's crazy, man. So if you couldn't tell, Mike's got a little bit of a twang, bro. Where you from, bro? I don't feel like you have that Aussie accent. No way.
No, I don't.
Not at all.
I'm from New York. New York, but I think I've lost my New York accent.
You reckon?
100%. If I'm there, give me about a week, it comes back once I'm around my family, friends, and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm worldwide, man. I've been everywhere. I've lived in a few different countries, so yeah.
How would you sound if your New York was back? What would it sound like?
I can't even do it, man. I can't even do it. It's it's a mindset thing. You got to be in the environment.
Yeah. Dope, man. Like, as you touched on, obviously you said you're a basketball coach, but I've known this man for, I want to say, 8-9 years?
About that.
About 8-9 years. Wow. And he is more than just a basketball coach, bro. He's a mentor. He is a pioneer. He's a trailblazer. He's got a lot of stuff that he's kind of formulated, which will be kind of the basis of what we talk about today, man. But before we kind of delve into everything, man, how did you find your way from, the States? Where you from? You from New York? From New York in the States. How did you find your way from New York all the way to freaking Melbourne, Australia in the Cut studio, bro?
Oh, man. So I leave New York in 2004 to finish high school down south in Florida. I grew up playing ball. I had hoop dreams, just like every kid, especially in New York City. I go to college, things don't work out. I realized then I had to switch it up. This was in 2008, recession. I was 19, 20 at the time. You guys would have been very young.
In 2008?
2004.
3, 5, 5.
Yeah, 5'6", 5'6".
Yeah. So I was at a crossroads. I was out of high school, out of college, and I had to figure something out. And for a lot of American kids, the simplest way out is military.
Wow.
So I joined the military, the Navy to be specific, and look, I had a blast. It changed my life. I won't go into all that, but
Yeah, it's a story for another day.
yeah, I could. That could be its own pod.
Yeah.
But yeah, I end up in the Middle East in Bahrain. Had a blast there. Worked hard, partied hard. Towards the end of my enlistment, my contract, I did 4 years. I was already about 3 years in, 3.5, and I meet a young lady who's from Australia.
Yes, sir.
We hit it off, and one thing led to another, love, and I get out the Navy and I moved straight to Australia.
Wow.
Crazy.
That was back in 2012, and I've been here ever since. So yeah,
It's awesome.
When you came to Australia, you didn't go to like the glitz and the glam and you're in the heart of Melbourne. Where did you come out, bro? When you came out, yo?
I landed it at the airport, saw the high rise, the skyline. I'm like, oh man, this is nice, and we just drove straight up the highway, straight up that Hume Highway, and lived in Yarrawonga in the country for my first, say, 4 or 5 months. Look, beautiful place, peaceful, amazing people. But yeah, it's not my speed.
That would have been crazy.
I always have to be busy.
What was the adjustment going from the hustle and bustle of the States to freaking the country?
Well, at the time I needed it, I guess. I had just left the military. My then girlfriend, who's now my wife, she was pregnant with our first child. So it was pretty cool just to not do anything. I didn't do anything. I had a chance. That was my chance to figure out what my next move was. And I realized then, I wanted to get into basketball in some way. From there, we moved down to Melbourne, Pascoe. I've been there ever since, not too far from here. And got back into the game. I was recovering from a torn ACL. I was lucky enough to play a few years Big V.
Yes, sir.
Nothing too big, but at the same time, I got into coaching right away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I really found my passion. Look, I'm pretty sure I would have jumped into it anyway, but when I did, I think it was just right place, right time.
What was that sort of key pinnacle moment that sort of said for yourself, yeah, I'm going to go into coaching from the player side to the coaching side? Was it a coach that you had, or what was it for you?
No, well, look, it was a coach I didn't have.
That's a bar.
I grew up with, some horrible coaches. I'm not, and I've never been that sour player to say, oh, it wasn't my, they just didn't teach me what I should have been taught. Look, I never really felt I was coached the right way. Now, I had some coaches that showed they cared, looked after me and stuff, but teaching me the game and stuff like that. And look, it's so competitive in the States. You have to be some of the top players to get the best coaching. So, look, I get it. But, out of all the coaches I ever had, maybe 1 or 2 stand out, and they really took time to show me that they cared and always looked out. So I wanted to be the coach I never had. That's always been my thing, even to this day.
Damn. So, that's pretty nuts. So when you came out here and started coaching, I think people may have the conception that you just had like a crazy elite team or anything like that. What was your first real coaching experience when you started out here, man?
Oh, man, that's so I didn't know where to start. I knew nothing about Australian basketball or basketball in Melbourne, nothing. So I just went online and started looking for some coaching gigs and stuff like that. I coached a year 12 fours team at Caulfield Grammar.
I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah, year 12 fours. Yeah, these kids just didn't.
Yeah.
They weren't basketball players.
That's
They
fair.
were great kids. But they weren't basketball players. They didn't take it serious. They had to play basketball for the curriculum. So basketball is what they chose. And yeah, I was training them once a week. So I would take the train, 2 trains to Caulfield Grammar, get on a bus to go to Monash University, train them there for an hour, get back on the bus, get back on the train to get back home. So my day would start at around 2:30. I would get home around 6:37 every night. And the games were Saturday mornings around 7:38 in the morning at MSAC. All the games were there except for one at Geelong Grammar. I got paid about $450 for the whole.
What? The whole team?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But here I am. I didn't
You didn't know any better.
I thought it was gonna lead to something, and then I start meeting people. I start to learn how things work here. Yeah.
And what was your impression of how things worked? What did you realize?
Oh, it was gonna be easy, easy to break in.
Yeah. So you went from coaching Caulfield Grammar Falls team, 12-4, shout out whoever they are. They're probably in their 20s now. And then where'd you find yourself? What was your next adventure?
I found myself, I played a season up in the country.
Yup.
In Wodonga. Started doing some camps and stuff on my own. And then I made my way to Coburg.
Yep.
I got a chance to play for the men's team there for 3 seasons. And I just started coaching right away. Right. I had a under-18s team, great bunch of boys. Some of those boys are all coaching now, most of them. I still have great relationships with all of them. I see them all the time. And then I coached, and then the very next year I really started getting my feet wet in it all, really being myself. And I had a little tough group of boys under 16s, and AJ was part of that team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
He was man, that 16-1s team was different real quick, man. If any of you guys are coached by Mike now, he's not the same as what he was, bro. I'll tell you a quick story, bro. It was like preseason. He would text all our parents, maybe I want to say a few hours training here. Bring your runners at a park. All right, cool. So we all go down there. It's sunny day and stuff. All 10 of us, we're not runners. Bro, I don't know how. He had army canisters of ammo. And like the canisters and stuff. And he had
filled with sand.
Yeah, filled with not bullets, but it was filled with it.
Yeah.
Man, he just made us run, bro. We're doing Indian file, the full length of the football field, carrying them, running and stuff. Boys would vomit. Yeah, it's get up, go again. It was by the end of it, those 10 of us, 6 of the boys vomited because we couldn't do it. He's like, all right, good session, and just left. He was different, bro. He was different back then. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yo, who coached by Mike now? He's different, bro. How have you found the adjustment, bro, when you're coaching from being out here? And obviously, it's a very different kettle of fish players-wise. From where you're from, you go to play to get out.
Yeah.
But here, it's a lot of leisure. So how did you kind of adjust as a coach?
Yeah, well, that's just right. I would have – that was what I was used to. Plus, I gave you some of my military treatment. So that didn't help, right? But, yeah, I was coached hard. There was no – what's the best way to put it, man? I was coached very hard. Every single team I was in, there was a lot of pressure, and that follows you. Plus, you're trying to get a scholarship just to get out, and to go to college for free. So you had the pressure the coaches put on you, the pressure from the street, pressure just to make it out. It catches up, right? I think over here, I had to adjust my coaching, coach more with some love, some compassion, teach the game. I gotten better as a coach, as far as that, throughout the years. But yeah, it's totally different now. My coaching style is totally different.
It is
totally different, way more calmer. Plus, I have 3 kids, so that has brought me down.
That's mellowed you out.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Did the military sort of training have a lot of impact on your coaching career? Did you take stuff from that and say, "Oh, I want to use this to coach players"? Or
A lot. So obviously the discipline, the commitment, the structure, the planning behind everything, the attention to detail. Attention to detail was like in our everyday vocabulary. You know, you had to be precise with everything you did. You know, whether it's at training or going out on a mission. You know, it's your life or somebody else's life. You know, so you have to be on point with everything, and it translates to basketball or to any team sport because you have to rely on each other. You know, you would have to listen to your superiors, and everybody has to play a role. Everybody will play a role, and the same thing as a basketball team. And then the leadership. You know, holding yourself accountable at all times, and holding your team accountable. You know, the same way I want my my players to trust me and believe in me, I got to show them the same. But you earn it both ways. It's earned both ways. You know, I think a coach first has to earn the trust. You know, coach has to earn the trust first, and that's as they say, that's the hardest thing to earn and the easiest thing to lose.
He's cooking.
Is the coach.
He's cooking.
Is the trust. So yeah.
How do you earn that trust as a coaching your players?
Takes time, man. Yeah, you have to be authentic. Kids, especially kids nowadays, man. You know, back in the day when I was young, a coach would have told me anything, I would have believed it.
Yeah.
Kids are smart. Kids are smart now.
hard to crack.
Kids are smart because they have so much knowledge, so much information in front of them. Parents are smarter. You know, parents are way more involved. Kids are they just up to things. So it takes time. It takes time, and I'm at the point now where, you know, as humble as I could say this, you know, when I first meet people, they already know kind of who I am.
Yeah, 100%. Talk yourself, bro.
And who my name, and what my name is. So I already have that trust. I have that behind me. So yeah.
Reputation.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
100%. And now, definitely it's a perfect segue into kind of our next topic, man. You see it on the hoodie that you have in front of you, man. Yeah. Plays first basketball, man. Plays first. That is why I think you are reputable and you have that name. And if you're in the basketball scene in Melbourne and Victoria, you know who Mike Torres is. And if you don't, wake up, because you should. Right? So tell me, man, what is plays first? Tell me, man. Tell us the gist of it.
Yeah, man. Look, it started about 2015. I didn't make it official to about 2017, but it went as a different name, and you'll remember School of Skills. School of Skills was my thing. This was back when I had no idea what I was doing. I was doing camps up in the country, Kerrang, Yarrawonga, Wangaratta, and I had a after-school program at the stadium here. But I had no idea what I was doing. I was charging peanuts and putting out some good work, right? But it wasn't about the money. It was me about, giving back, to the kids, everything I know. And what I knew back then was probably 1% right now, right? Both business-wise and on the court. What Players First is now, almost 10 years.
Crazy.
Right, is a full-service basketball resource.
Wow.
So we work with, obviously, players, coaches, teams, clubs. We do consulting. And yeah.
That's awesome.
100%. And to think that it started with a group on call for at the stadium, like, 15 kids maybe? How many you reckon?
Less, man. Maybe I had 6 kids. 6 kids would train with me for 1 hour from like 6 to 7 every Sunday. I didn't start advertising till about a year ago.
Yep.
So this was all just word of mouth. Again, I hardly knew what I was doing back then, right? I was charging $5 a head, $5 a kid, which again I would leave home with. I would get home with about $30-$40 in my pocket, Yeah, but what it's turned into now, it started, it's grown over the years. Changed up the approach, changed up how, my teaching method. It helped that I was coaching as well. I was coaching teams. I was doing a lot of basketball Victoria, like state team stuff. Been a youth league coach at a different club. So now it's at the point where I run about that Sunday night has turned into 3 hours with about 25 kids each session.
Wow. Well, since, now it's been, according to AJ and, you see it everywhere, it's now, everyone knows it in Aussie basketball. What sparked the flame? Because it couldn't just be, it obviously didn't, as you said, didn't amount to all this out of nowhere,
It happened, look, it happened naturally. That's the easiest way to put it. As I said, I never advertised. It was all word of mouth. Johnny would invite his friend, who would just invite his friend, stuff like that. Parents would call me. I heard you run this session. But it also helped that I was actually there were results.
The proof is in the pudding.
So I had kids doing, going somewhere with it. I was developing some very good players, both boys and girls. We have a few kids who are now in the States.
Yo, let them know, bro.
College-wise.
Let them know. Whereabouts?
Last year we sent a kid to college, which was our first D1 player.
Huge.
And that's a kid I had since he was 12 years old.
Wow.
8 years straight or 6 years straight. Yeah, man, look, we got boys and girls in the States now doing great stuff. So I think it just happened naturally to where it is now. Even till now, I really don't advertise. Post a few things on social media. But, yeah.
It's crazy to think that you don't advertise in, like, a world like 2024, where it seems like everything has to be advertised. Everything is just, everything's on, everyone knows about it because it's on the phone and stuff. But it's crazy to hear that just by the results and the progress that you can create for your players, that it's awesome. Yeah.
Do you think that you value kind of just more what you're giving in versus what people see? Because a lot of people, like Ealef was saying, live in a social media age. It's all about how you look. Nowadays, you relate to this. Kids want their highlights on a Friday night and a Saturday rather than putting in that work.
Yeah, well, I tell kids to stay away from that, man. Even like with myself, I don't really put myself out there like that. And look, I'm not knocking any kid out there. You do it because you love it. If it makes you happy, keep doing it, man. As long as just respect the game. But like even with the coaches, not knocking their hustle, man. Trust me, I'm not. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't put myself out there with a mic and
post clips
and clips because it's never been about me. So the reason I teach the game the way I do, it's never been about me. More recently, I've had people tell me, get on the mic, get in the camera. I do it. I just started doing it maybe a few months ago, and it's not,
it's not who you are.
It's not me. I'd rather showcase the players and not showcase highlights, just showcase a little bit of what we do, So, yeah.
And credit to you, man, for staying authentically yourself and in your approach and not folding to what everyone else is doing and staying true to who you are. And, the results show. Mike's very, as you can tell, man, he's very humble. He sent, like you said, man, multiple kids to the States and D1s. That's not something easy to do. Like high major, mid major D1s, like you got kids scattered. You got, players from all different teams coming to you for your service just because they trusted another player and they've seen it in their work ethic. Oh, how come you got better in this offseason? I train with Mike. I was at plays first. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Look, I'll say this. I think what I've realized, right? I think sorry about that.
He's a popular man, bro. Kids want a session right now. They hitting him up. They hitting him up.
That's the wife. Look, what I've realized, especially this year, because it's exploded, right? It's exploded. I only do 5 sessions a week, and they're all booked out, right? But what I've noticed is, yeah, the kids and the parents come to me for the training, but it's more what I give outside of the training. You know, as AJ said, I do my best to mentor these kids, give them support. If it's talking to a child and a parent after a training session for 5-10 minutes, that's what I do. I've always done that. And I think parents see that I actually care. And most of the time our conversations has nothing to do with what you're doing on court. Is how are you feeling? You know, how does this make you feel? Well, I'm not playing too much. Okay, what can you do? You know, so just stuff like that. It's I think that's the word that's getting out. You know, that this guy is a solid guy. You know, he's just not out running programs, you know, and just trying to, I guess, you know, take people's money, you know. So, yeah.
100%. And living proof of that is me, bro. Like, I was there, you know, he gave me, that's like I was telling you in, you know, episode 3, I want to say it was, gave me the platform to coach. He had all of our under 16s. He said, hey, man, I want you all to come take turns, coach. And some of them didn't care and didn't take them up, and I did. And I'm so thankful that I did, and I went to those sessions because it gave me the foundation to speak. It gave me the foundation to learn how to connect with kids. And if I'm not doing what I was doing as a 15-year-old playing under 16s for Mike, there's no way in hell I'd be doing what I'm doing now with Calm and having a podcast. Like, you don't realize, man, those little things that you do, like even just being in the backseat and he'd pick me up, drop me to my auntie's house, take me, like the little things like that. And I know for a fact he's still doing it. You know what I mean? The essence and the aura of it hasn't changed. So for me, it's a blessing to see you kind of blow up and succeed in what you're doing. And that's why I thought, you know, it was needed to have you on episode 7 as our first guest, bro. So yeah, it's popping off, bro. It's popping off. Don't everyone wish they had a mentor like Mike, man?
Yeah, definitely. Hats off to you, bro. I think it's crazy. Like, we don't understand the impact that the influence of mentors and coaches can actually have, good or bad. So like, you know how you said earlier about how you never had that coach that was, you know, the right one for you and for others. So it's crazy that you've taken on that role to give them what they were missing and what you were missing. Because I know I played soccer growing up, and there were coaches here and there, but there was no one that really, you know, touched my heart and someone that I could look at and say, yeah, you know, that's someone I wanted to be, you know. So hats off to you for being able to do that.
Yeah, look, I think I offer my help to anybody. But the kids who, like AJ really wanted it. And AJ really just wanted to learn. Even though he didn't come out and say, teach me this, teach me that, he was just always around me or the other guys, you know, who were older. And he stuck around, and that's why he is who he is. You know what I mean? Because he learned as a kid. And I'm teaching the younger generation off of my mistakes, right? And I don't go out and pick, you know, the best player and try to mentor them. I take anybody under my wing, you know what I mean? But the kids who stick around and are constantly, you know, messaging me, Mike, can I do this? Can I do this? Those are the ones I go a little further with. So yeah, man, yeah,
it's important, man.
I really appreciate what you said about how you take anybody to give them help. I mean, what's some advice you can give to a younger individual, anyone out there who feels like maybe they feel like they can't be helped, or maybe they feel like they don't feel the strength inside them to keep pushing to get through whatever it is?
Yeah, look, man, it's tough, right? Because teenagers, man, being a teenager is hard. You know, we were all there. You know, that's some tough years, you know, and what we don't do, we're not going to listen to our parents. We just don't. So that's why it's important to find a group or find somebody who you admire or kind of look up to, and just pick their brain about stuff, right? Just pick their brain and just be open-minded. And as you know, when you're young, it's very hard to even understand what that means and to understand the concept. But I think for the young people who are able to open their minds to new things and get out of their comfort zone, you see growth pretty quickly in that. And that goes for even people my age. I've had to learn that throughout the years. So, yeah.
That's important. That's a very big thing that you touched on, being open-minded and picking people's brain. And, yeah, that's something we kind of preach a lot. If you have someone you look up to, don't be afraid to send that message or put yourself out there, man. But in terms of, obviously, we're touching a lot of success and how players first is rolling. What's kind of been the hardest thing with players first? And it could be the business element, could be the coaching element, any element of it. What's the hardest thing that you kind of really had to figure out over this almost decade, bro?
It has to be, the business side of things. Eventually, me coaching for $5 wasn't gonna put
food
on the table, or me traveling to Caulfield for $400 a season wasn't gonna do it, right? So I had to figure out quick, but I didn't want to do it out of character. I still wanted to stay myself. I wanted players first to still keep its
essence.
Its essence is, and be authentic with it. It's always been more than just the basketball side of things. I wanted to show I care. So, I think I had to learn how to be patient, let it grow organically, and it has. To a point now where we're about to open up a facility.
Yes, sir.
So that's, going into this chapter now, this past April, we took our first trip to the States.
Yes, sir.
I took a group of 8 boys. That went amazing. One of my guys got a college offer on day one.
Wow. Yes, sir.
Us being able to send kids throughout the years, started in 2021.
Yep.
2 boys, a Ewell, and Duncan James.
Yep.
Sent them over. And yeah, look, it's so the growth of the business happened organically, and as it started to grow, I had to learn how to really manage it.
I don't know.
I think the biggest learning point was me learning how to step away from the basketball side of things and get the right coaches in place to start taking my place on the court. Even though I'm on court a lot still, I had to step back and see and look at the business, through a different lens. And that was more of a CEO, or the leader, of it all. So yeah.
How do you balance that? Because you're playing 10 roles here. You know what I mean? So how do you balance all that?
Well, I'm still, I understand I'm still in chaos mode, but it's an organized chaos. It comes with it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the chaos in my head 24/7. It's way easier to handle now than it was, say, 4 years ago, or even last year. Because it never stops. It's an everyday thing, and it's something I tell kids. Even when it comes to basketball, it's every day. Every day, if you want to be good at something, it's every day. I have really, really big goals for everything I do, and it's an everyday process for me. So yeah.
What lets you stay grounded, stay not losing your mind over all these?
They stay present.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, look, it happened about 2 years ago. It kind of I snapped out of it because I started seeing the results. The results came, and I realized certain things that I was doing was working. And as soon as I started cutting out, the stuff that was wasting my time and stuff like this, and really, really structuring everything I did on a daily basis and focusing on certain things, time management, all that, that's when I started to see those results, right? And the results started turning into success. Success started bringing in way more money. You know, and as soon as that happens, everything starts to start clicking slowly, slowly. And then one, light bulb starts to turn on one after the other. So yeah.
Do you think that that's contributed to just time and just being in it and being in that dogfight and figuring it out?
You have to. Look, I did all the self-empowerment, improvement stuff. I read a lot of books, podcasts. I did it all. And look, a lot of that helps. That's only about a quarter of what you need. You're not gonna just read a book or go to a course or listen to podcasts and just turn it on. You have to be in. You have to be in the shit
Yup.
for a long time, and you have to be okay. I heard this the other day. You have to be okay with eating shit, and I love it. It's okay for me.
Yup.
It's okay. I'm okay with problems that come up. I'll eat it up now. It's okay, and that's part of what it takes. You have to go through a lot. You have to go through. Man, to this day, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. because something just. I check my phone and I'm emails and this and that. It happens, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Do you think that you learning how to be in the mud and be in the thick of it is something that you were born with, or you kind of learned along the way in your journey and your upbringing?
Nah, I think who knows if I was born with it, but just I saw my mom struggle, man. Single mom, you can relate.
Yup.
I grew up in a rough neighborhood, man, where the only successful people were the drug dealers. And at times, that's who you look up to. That's the only people you have to look up to. I knew nobody who was successful. But I think literally seeing the hustle in front of me, kind of pushed me to know that there's something more. Right. But as far as, the business wise and learn how to overcome obstacles in business and stuff, I don't think that comes naturally. I think it comes naturally once you're in it. And if you can stay in it consistently, because there's going to be so many obstacles that, that you face. And yeah. And as time goes, you learn how to deal with these obstacles. So the first ones might be a 6-foot wall, then eventually they start getting shorter and shorter. But every day there's a little 1-foot wall in front of you. You just step over that shit now. You just step over, and it's that's part of it, man. That's part of it. And with that, your confidence grows, and that takes you a long way too. The confidence, to try new things, to innovate. Take risk. You got to take risk, man. Take risk. And I've taken risk, man, while supporting the family.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. Like Ealef and I, we can take risks. We 21. We young. Like at the end of the day, it's cool.
You guys could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yup.
Look, you guys can do whatever you want, man. You guys have so much time. I'm 37. I didn't really switch it on to about 33, 34. But from 25 to about 33, 34, I was still trying to figure it out.
Working it out.
And I was having a kid. My kids were born, and I'm trying to figure things out. I knew not that I could never work a 9 to 5. Now I can't, right? Because I don't have the patience for that, and I like to stay busy.
Yep.
I like challenges. And no disrespect to those who do, man. But that's just not me. But even then, I knew what I wanted. I didn't know it was gonna be what I'm doing now. But it's all about taking those risks, being open-minded, and taking what comes. You have to be real with it. You're not gonna, wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to do this," and it happens overnight. So yeah.
hats off to you for being able to, learn and develop all these skills over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and building it into the, successful foundation that you've developed today. But what about the future? What do you see yourself doing 5, 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, even tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I'll be up around like 5:45 and heading to one of my schools. Look, I have
let him know about this. Perfect segue into it.
Oh well, look.
Tell him.
About 4 years ago, I started the High School Basketball Network. What it was 4 years ago, I had no idea what it was going to be today. Right. Shout out to my brother Mike Fortune. He was with me.
Sure.
He was with me at Coburg High. So pretty much, it started off as a high school basketball academy at Coburg High School. We wanted to make it an elite program, right? We had about 35 kids in the program the first year, and we realized right away it was far from that. All right, 90% of the kids we had just wanted to be part of a team, part of something. And 90% of what we taught was just real life stuff. We would have deep convos with them every morning before training and stuff. And so it slowly transitioned to like a mentorship program for high school students. And we use just basketball as a tool to bring them all together and to teach those skills, right? And to teach those lessons. And from that one school, Coburg High, is turned into 4 schools.
Wow.
And
so,
like I said earlier, I had to learn how to separate myself from the actual business and see it from a different lens. And that happened after the second year at Coburg. Northcote High rings me and said, "We heard about your program. We would like that program." That's when the light bulb hit and said, "Okay, I got something here."
Yes, sir. They come calling you, my boy.
I was like, I have something here. And so really quick, I had to switch from being a coach to being an operator. I had to learn how to create a system that was duplicatable at a different school. Same with the same love, same passion, and that I had to find the right coaches for that. But in the same program to give out the same message. Right. Fast forward, this is our 4th year. We're at 4 different schools now.
Yep.
Great coaches, amazing coaches at each school who actually care. And they know why they're there. It's for the kids. And yeah, we have fun, man. It's a year-long curriculum. We play about 4 tournaments a year, but it's more than just the basketball, as I said. So that's that. That's the High School Basketball Network. Players First has grown. It's going to continue to grow into more of a resource for everything basketball. This year I got into consulting, so helping clubs with their structure and their operations. That I enjoyed that a lot, Soon it'll be into getting deeper into the coaching development, more trips overseas, more player pathways to college, and more than just junior basketball, stuff like that. Maybe players transitioning from playing to coaching, so pathways for that. Going interstate next year to Queensland with my brother Remy from Houston, who comes out every year. We've set up a all-girls camp in Queensland for next July. So for those of you who are out there, there'll be some more info later down the line. What else? Have the facility popping off soon. We're looking at a early September opening. And that's going to be like a hub for kids, one, to feel safe, really learn to love the game. It's not going to be a place where you just come, do some drills and go. Nothing is promised there. We're not trying to create the next superstars. If it happens, it happens. I'm sure it will. But it's a place where kids could come, learn to love the game, be in a great environment with like-minded kids, great coaching. We're going to provide after-school tutoring. And yeah, man, just a really dope place to be, right? Everything I wanted as a kid. You know, I fell in love with the game for what the game was, not for what the game could provide. You know, I was just so happy playing basketball, and that's the space that I'm gonna create. And I also have a uniform apparel line. So yeah, basketball uniforms specifically. It's been around for about a year now, and you know, I have some great people helping me in the background. AJ is one of them. My wife, you know, is involved in that as well. Well, shout out to my wife. You know, she stepped up this year, and she's taking care of a lot of the admin stuff. But even before that, man, you know, I think you asked me earlier, how do I manage it all? If it wasn't for her and the way she is and like the belief that she put in me, because she's believed in me since day one, I wouldn't have gotten this far. And while I would probably see my wife and kids maybe 30 minutes every day, a total of 30 minutes, and I'll be on court or across the city or somewhere traveling, and I'll be with other kids longer than I would be with mine.
That's real.
Right? Taking them to, you know, home after training, whatever, and I get home and everybody's sleeping, you know. But, you know, it wasn't easy on her, so she held down the fort for years, to the point now where the business has grown so much where she had to come in this year and really help me. And I was able to, like, you know, not have so much on my plate and really concentrate on building it and building other things that I'm doing now. So yeah, shout out to my wife Jade. But yeah, Hoopwear is the uniform apparel line. It's growing slowly. We're growing behind the we're lurking.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Have a few clubs on board. But yeah, it's something special. It's something that I'm confident in. Being a former player and just being around the game my whole life, I have a really good understanding of how a uniform should look on players, how it should feel. And yeah, man, it's something exciting. It's something fun. I actually have fun doing it. And again, it just gives me another challenge, you know? So yeah.
It's very inspiring, bro. I mean, to be able to go from, you know, all these ideas in your head and being able to, one, delegate to other coaches, two, to be able to, you know, flourish all these really successful avenues such as, you know, the clothing, the players first, the hoopwear, all
academy,
that.
all of it,
academy, all that. I think it's really, really inspiring, especially not only for me and AJ, who are young business owners, but also for everyone out there who's got a chance to do whatever they want to do in their life.
100%.
So, yeah, really
100%. And all that comes from, like you said, just time. And being in the thick of it, in the mud, man. Like,
Man, you gotta be.
yo, I've been there for some times, bro. I remember the factory we thought we were gonna get before this. You feel me, man? Quick side note. You know, we had a factory, like Mike had another facility, this and that. What was that one like, bro?
Look, man, I try to get it, you know, under the table type moves and stuff like that with some friends here and there. It was an abomination, man, from start to finish. It never got off the ground. Yeah. But that comes, you know, with lessons learned, man. You learn. You learn. It's part of it. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have the place I have now. Let's just say that. Because I learned, you know, if you want something done right, you just got to do it yourself. And that's what I did. I just went and did it myself. Again, with the support of my wife, she just said, go do it, you know. And that's a risk, you know. You know, we're still growing our family. And the goal is to buy a house, but I think she sees the bigger picture. I already knew what the bigger picture was, so we jumped into it about 4 or 5 months ago, and we're about a month away from hopefully opening.
Surreal.
It's starting to get fitted out now. It's not too far from here in Coburg, so be on the lookout for that.
Surreal.
Yeah, man, it's part of it, man. You just gotta deal with a lot of BS. Put yourself in certain situations that you're gonna learn from. It's all about learning. So yeah.
Man, your whole story, I think, is just a testament to your character, and just to anyone listening, bro, just go do it. This man flew around the world, ended up in the country, didn't know what was going on, said, I had an idea, started a little freaking coaching here and there, had, 6 kids after school. All right, cool. Built this up, 5 years down the line. All right, cool. I have another idea. Let's start an academy. All right, cool. I'm a player. I know how it feels on jerseys. Let's do it. And all of this has come from trials and tribulations and ups and downs. And only now, really now, 10 years later, that you're really seeing the fruits of your labor, and you're not even there yet. That's the scary part.
No. Thanks for saying that. I feel like I'm in chapter 1 right now.
That's crazy.
But to go back to uniforms, I just didn't start it. Like, I've been running my own programs for almost 10 years now, and I've been designing my own uniforms. So again, that comes, I've ordered uniforms from here, there, companies from here, from Australia, China, all over the world, designed them, lost so much money, gotten very bad uniforms. So I've gone through it. I've seen it all. I've tried it all, and then I decided, let me just do it myself.
If you want a job done right, you do it yourself, my boy. Yeah. And I feel like that should be your motto, bro. If you want a job done right, you do it yourself. And now, you know what I mean? Like, you've evolved and developed so much as a person from just being the coach to now, man, you coach the coaches. And I know how the academies work. I'm in an academy myself. Shout out Preston. We're going to get the dub this year, but you know how it is. And you've been able to, coach the coaches and give them a platform. And it's like, man, I feel like you said it before, it was the dopest term. You're the operator, bro. Yeah. It's a gangster nickname. You're the operator. You just operating mad different. You just operating, bro. That's what you do.
Now, look, I think if you don't have good people around you, and it's one having them, right? But you have to help them grow at the same time.
Yep.
The same success you want for yourself, you want for them. So I don't want my coaches to just coach for me all the time. I want them to go on and maybe coach some senior teams, go coach some state teams, really better themselves, and I think they all know that. I think that's why I get the results, from my coaches, and I don't have to be on top of them because I hear from the players. I get the feedback from parents. Just the other week, I was telling him, I've had a few kids who rejoined the academy because they heard how good it was once he joined. I send every time I get an email from a parent, I send it straight to the coach or to the group chat, coach's group chat, and I want everybody to see it. And so without my coaches, man, I wouldn't be in the situation where I am now.
100%. They do say, to invest in, whether it be, people like workers or whatever it is, you got to invest in them as people first.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
And that's something you've definitely done, man. And you build in such a community and just a family, man, that extends so much further than just putting a ball in a hole when you really think about it. You're really changing young people's lives, man. You really are. And just, giving young people the opportunity to go to the States they would have never had. Giving the, young people the opportunity to be heard and to listen and to feel valued. You know what I mean? When I go to academy, I see it for myself, man. The camaraderie and how much they get around each other is special. You don't get that in high school. You can relate, man. Kids little picking on each other, bullying, this and that. But if you're in academy, that's my boy there. You're different. You know what I mean? The way they can get around each other, and you're not doing it at one school, you're doing it 4, bro. You know what I mean? So the impact and the reach that you have in the community that stemmed through basketball and just stemmed through you being fearless and just being like, I'm going to do it myself and get it done, has changed, man, thousands of lives. It's changed mine. It's, for me, I'm able to impact others. Like, it's a full circle moment, bro, and it's just come from you being in the thick of it, being in the mud of it and not being afraid to freaking do it, bro. So, you know, shout out to you and everything you're building, man. It's a privilege to see and witness, and I'm so glad we kind of get to capture it and be a little part of the journey here, man, for sure.
Nah, for sure, man. Look, thanks for letting me, share some knowledge, man, and yeah, give you some aspects of my life.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this is the first time that we've met, and I've already been inspired so much. And I mean, I've heard about you through other clients that have come for haircuts that mentioned your name, and it's nothing but good things. So like, I was definitely excited for today because I knew that today would be really worthwhile. So really appreciate you having on for sure.
100%, bro. Give the people just one last gem to leave them with. It could be anything, whatever you're feeling. Could be a player, could be a coach, could be anything. Give them one last gem before we sign off episode 7 today.
Nah, I think what he just said, he's heard my name from other people. It's probably because I was just myself, and I was just nice. Just be a nice person, be a good person in this world, man. There's so much bullshit out there. If you're gonna do something, do it because you love it, not because you're trying to make a quick buck. Do it because you love it. Be a nice person while you're doing it. Be real, and the rest is gonna take care of itself, man.
Yes, sir. Episode 7 in the cut from the charity community. It's been your boy Alexander Michael Ealef. I'm here with Ealef, Michael Torres, man, and we just ran it up. Hell of an episode, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.